I'll have to be honest with you. First thing I'm going to mention right up front is it's free. I like the service when it's free because, you know, you can tie up a lot of money in different services, and from experience I found out that sometimes you can pay a lot of money and you may not be getting that much out of it.
Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody Bills, this is Logan Burgess. Today is Friday the 5th, and we had the market bouncing here after a couple hard days of selling earlier on in the week. Corn finished off the day up 9.5 cents, soybeans trading up 18.25, wheat in Chicago trading up 5. We had Kansas City wheat trading up 8.25, and spring wheat up 3.5 cents here on the day. Now I think part of what we saw here is some short covering. It was a Friday, but as we talked about earlier on in a GrainTV show, I think it was Wednesday, is when you get these breaks, through critical support levels, oftentimes you can impulse down, but there's a good chance that you actually come back up and you retest what was support. Right. It's called a role reversal. What was support oftentimes turns into resistance. So keep an eye on those support levels that we talked about earlier on this week. If we do get back up there, you know, it might be worthwhile to put in a sell for those that are looking to hedge their crop, put a sell limit in there and possibly get filled. But of course we had export sales out this morning. Logan, what did we see? Did that move the market?
You know, not really, Cody. Generally a neutral export sales report. If you take a look here, we're showing both 2013-14 and new crop 14-15. This was the last week in the 2013-14 marketing year, and you can see here for corn and soybeans, we actually saw net cancellation, 7.5 thousand bushels canceled there, 87,000 bushels canceled for soybeans. Generally in line with trade expectations, though. As you can see, traders were looking for some cancellations on the old crop. Looking at the new crop, generally light sales here from what we've seen over the last couple weeks. Soybeans coming in a bit low, corn coming in a bit low. On net, not a huge driver of the trade today. You know, Cody, I think we had a couple concerns about freeze. We had a dollar index backing off, so I really don't think that today's export sales was really driving today's action.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we look at these export sales on average across the entire U.S., you got to keep in mind that really this week was the final sales for old crop. So where did we finish off? Well, when you look at our models, we finished off with soybeans about 34 million bushels ahead of pace to meet the expectations that were in the August report. I think that that's going to put pressure on the USDA to raise their export forecast here for old crop here in the September report on September 11th. When you look at corn, that's a completely different story. The green line represents the pace that we are in terms of ahead or behind to meet USDA expectations, and that corresponds with the axis on the right, so million bushels ahead and behind. When you look at corn, we're right on pace. So I don't think they're going to have to do any adjustments here for corn. I think the adjustments that we see in export sales in the September WASDE report is going to be coming in terms of soybeans.
Yeah, absolutely, Cody. You know, and as you said, we are going to get that report next Thursday, and that's really going to be the big driver of the grain market here as we move into harvest. A big focus of that report is going to be yield on the corn crop. We did get some updates today by way of Informa. They came out projecting corn yield at 170.3 bushels per acre there. Looking at total production, 14.28 billion bushels. So, you know, soybeans in a lot of people's opinion right now is not completely finished in terms of yield potential, but I think a lot of traders are going to look for the USDA to make a sizable revision from what we saw in August in terms of that corn yield number. We'll be talking about that a lot next week on GrainTV, helping people get prepared for that report. As I said, out on Thursday. Cody, it is Friday today. We like to talk about what's going on in the cash market, and it's starting to look like we're starting to see some basis pressure out of the South as a result of some harvest pressure maybe ramping up a little bit.
Absolutely. When you take a look at this chart right here, you'll notice that we did see barge rates increase this week. We saw them increase about 22% here on St. Louis. We saw the lower Ohio increase 14%. Cairo, Memphis rates increased 22%. This is comparing August 26 rates to September 2nd rates. So the bottom line is we are seeing barge rates increase, and we are seeing that influence the river markets. We saw corn down about 10 cents on average across the U.S. at river terminals. We saw basis for soybeans down around 14 cents here, or excuse me, 17 cents this week here for soybeans. When you switch your attention over to new crop, you'll notice that we did see a little bit of a decline in new crop basis here for corn, and we saw a little bit of an increase in terms of the national average for new crop for soybeans. But what I want to put a little bit more attention to is the basis movement in North Dakota. Notice that in North Dakota, corn basis declined a little over 1.5 cents here over the last week. When you look at soybeans, it actually increased 3.5 cents. So North Dakota is where we saw a lot of basis movement for new crop corn and for soybeans, but you'll notice corn basis is decreasing. We talked about this in the webinar back in the beginning of August, is that in the June stocks report, there's a significant amount of old crop corn still left in North Dakota, both on farm and at elevators. This whole transportation issue, the rail issue, has left a lot of corn in that region, and I think that what we're seeing here is a little pressure as farmers sweep out the bins, sell some of that old crop corn. We're seeing basis really hurt in that region. I would expect to continue to see basis decline here for corn in new crop in North Dakota.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, those basis decisions here as we move out of harvest, Cody, are going to be all the more important, especially when we're seeing a corn price on the board approaching $3 a bushel, soybeans testing $10. So it's really a market environment that's going to behoove farmers to take advantage of gains that they can find in the cash market. It's also going to really benefit farmers that can limit their costs here as we move through the marketing year. One way you can do that is by lowering your trading costs, and we have a great trading platform here at Grain Hedge that producers across the grain belt are using to execute hedges from their mobile phone or from their desktop computer or calling us as well. All options are available. If you want to take a look at that platform, visit us over at grainhedge.com, or as always, call our office. Number here is 877-472-4607. Thanks a lot for joining us here on Grain TV on a Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Cool. I hope that next Monday we show a great harvest.